The time is 6 p.m. The meeting has come to order. And we are now conducting a meeting of the regular city council meeting that is being held today on the 27th of March, 2026. Did I say 27th? Oh, April 27th, excuse me. I'm still thinking March, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why. So let's go ahead and move with the notices hereby given the above call meeting. The governing body of the city of Balcones Heights will be held on April 27, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Justice Center, located at 3300 Hillcrest Drive, Balcones Heights, Texas, 78201, to consider and act upon any lawful subject which may come before said meeting, including among others, the following items to be discussed and acted upon. We'll go ahead and call to order and recording of a quorum. We do have a full quorum present. And we will now go into the, excuse me real quick, my papers are mixed up here. Okay, so we will now go into the invocation and the pledges of allegiance to the USA and Texas flag. Invocation, Chaplain Kirk, please.
Good evening, all. I requested permission to make a few comments very quickly before the prayer. I want to make a comment that Chaplain Jim over there and we're in our 70s. And I want to make a comment that we have great wisdom. It's because for all the stupid we did when we were younger. And then I add my part up until last week. I was still doing stupid. The thing is that for me, I'm right. I know I'm right. And I had to learn something from my wife because I would basically follow her around the house trying to prove that I was right until she finally submitted, even though she knew she was right. And she made a very profound statement. She said, basically, you have a choice. You want to be right or do you want to be happy? Well, I wasn't happy, but I sure was right. So I had to learn that little thing. And then I'd also have a maxim that I use. And some of these things are to apply to us. It definitely applies to me. And that is to know in your heart and your mind that you're doing the best you can with what you got and what you know. And you may not have everything you need, but you're going to strive to do the best you can. And you may not know everything. So, my other comment about that is that don't let discouragement stick to you. What I do, if my coping mechanism is basically like an invisible can of Teflon for spiritual and emotional issues, because I do get triggered. So I can go head to toe all over, and I don't want it to stick to me. I basically say, Lord, you deal with it. And I do the best I can with what I have. So let's go ahead and go into prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for your presence tonight with the mayor, city council staff, our citizens as well as any visitors here who may be watching from afar. Our prayer is simple: for civility, professionalism, allowing all to be heard with respect and humility, listening effectively, not just hearing or just waiting for the individual speaking to end so we interject something, not wanting to truly hear what the other person is saying. That's a duologue. Dueling, I don't really want to hear what you're saying. I have my thing, but that's not a dialogue. And that's what we need to work on and be civil, to be understanding, be patient, and everything else is going on, because sometimes, as I know from my own past experience, Lord, I get things wrong. And I was taught basically to ask a question. Is this what you said? And many times I find out that was not the case. So may this also be a productive evening. Amen.
Okay, now we'll go ahead and do the invocation, pledges of allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flags. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, everyone. So we will now go into any public comment period, and I have none been notified of. Mr. Secretary or Madam Secretary, what do we have?
We have one, but it's for item number 12.
Item number 12, and who is that, please?
Juan Lysia.
Okay, Juan Lysia for item number 12. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into, and I'm going to go ahead and follow through with this agenda. It's a little different than what we've had before. The last one was somewhat like this. We've changed the format, but we'll deal with that later. So let's go on with the presentations first. PHCC Plumbing Apprentice presentation. George Saliba, George Plumbing Company, PHCC-SA, Apprentice Committee Chairperson. Heidi Trimble, Executive Director, Associated Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors of San Antonio, PHCC. San Antonio, Vicky Van Nest, Executive Director, Associated Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors of Texas, PHCC, Texas. You may proceed.
Thank you so much. My name is Vicky Van Nest. I'm the Executive Director of PHCC. Am I good? Okay. PHCC Texas. This is Heidi Trimble. She's the Executive Director of PHCC San Antonio. And George Saliba, he is the Chairperson of the Apprentice Committee. We just wanted to take a couple of seconds to share with you some of the great things that are going on in the city of San Antonio and some of the things that we're doing to help grow the labor force and to help fill the pipeline for the trades. Do I push the button to make the slides go or? Okay. Thank you. First off, what is PHCC? So we are the Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Contractors Association. We're a nonprofit trade association. Our goal is education, advocacy, and community. So through our work, we work education in the high schools. We did some work in all 5 of the Comal ISD high schools, just finished, in fact, last week. We also have an apprentice program, which we'll spend a little bit more time talking to you about, that's located in the city of San Antonio. We work through advocacy, so we work to make sure that the voices of plumbing and heating contractors are heard at the state and at the national level. And finally, we work to support our contractors through community, so giving them resources, providing support. We're all in this together. And so that's a little bit about what we do. To talk a little bit about the great things happening in the apprentice program, I'll turn it over to Heidi.
Thank you.
Hi, and thank you everyone for having us today. Appreciate that. Yeah, we have a plumbing apprenticeship school here in San Antonio since 2013. It's a Department of Labor approved program. Our contractor members in the association sponsor their employees that are currently working for them. They get their OJT, their on-the-job training time with their employer. And then in the evenings from 6 to 9 p.m. twice a week, they go to school. We hold our school at St. Philip's Southwest Campus on Quintana Road. And so, I mean, it's a win-win for everyone, for the employee working during the day, getting paid, the employer having a trained employee by master plumbers in the evening, and then just for the community. So there are the employers do sponsor their employees, and most of them do. Oops, sorry. Most of them do, pay for their tuition to go through their school. So George, did you want to talk a little bit about that one?
So and all I can do is add, or all I can add is we have, even though we've got a true apprenticeship program that's Department of Labor certified, we've now expanded into adult training where we work with the high schools. They create a group of adults that are looking for a second start, and we provide them with 72 hours of like a pre-apprenticeship. So our whole goal really is to create our own pool of vetted apprentices for our members and our plumbing companies to actually hire, as opposed to just picking up people off the street. So that has been our main push for the last 20 years, really, is we've been working on it. It's just a slow process. What's really helped us is the fact that the government has funding and grants for us to help pay for these guys to go to school. And that's all I have.
Great. Excuse me, 1 second, sir. So, Ms. Trimble and everyone that's here on behalf of the PHCC, we thank you very much for providing the input you have for us, the community. Obviously, our staff will probably circulate this information very well. And I think perhaps you may be able to take a question from the gentleman later on in the, as you encounter him later.
Okay.
Considering that he had to be on the agenda to be, as a person to speak.
I do want to note that we are also in the high schools, and working with the, the high school level too.
Great.
So kind of let that out.
We thank you so much for coming to our council and our city. You can meet with him and later and talk to him and ask the questions. Okay, thank you. Excuse me? Yes, but the way the rules are, since you're not signed up to speak on the item or anything, then we have to not engage. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. Okay, we'll move on to number 2. Presentation of medals, the Fire Department, Ruben Ramos, Lieutenant Fire Department. I think they got called out, correct?
Yes, they got called
So
out.
we'll see if we come back to this later. Let's move on down to the next item on number 5, department updates. Administration. We first have community engagement. We're going to start with Ms. The community engagement, Mr. Martinez. Go right ahead, sir.
All right, everybody, good afternoon. I'll be doing my department report from January 2026 to April 2026. Just a brief overview of the events that we've had, that we've covered, and other details that our department has been working on. And of course, I'll open it up to questions at the end if you have any. So we have organized the Little Library ribbon cutting, rock painting at Rogers, the health classes that we had in February, the Valentine's Day fiesta with the mariachis and the loteria, coffee with the cops at the La Tequila Jalisco restaurant off of Crossroads, the Easter egg hunt, which was a success in my opinion. We had over, between maybe 130 people there. I was surprised. I said, where did all these people come from? But I forgot that I gave my flyer to Baskin Elementary and they put it out everywhere. So that's where all that came from. And of course, the Balcones Heights Fiesta, which we just had this past Friday, which again was a great, successful event, being that it's the first time we have that event. We have also covered and participated several events, including Scooters, coffee ribbon cutting, the St. Gregory's Catholic School Week celebration, the Sherpa Financial ribbon cutting, the Dave & Buster's ribbon cutting, and the Zero to Muscle ribbon cutting. Sherpa Financial and Zero to Muscle are 2 businesses located at the business park. So I do want to encourage new businesses that are arriving at the business park to give us a call whenever you want to have a ribbon cutting. We want to be there and support you and your business. We're also working on the Mother's Day plant bingo for May, which is going to be on May 8th from 5 to 7 p.m. here at the Justice Center. We're going to have live music, food, prizes. It's going to be similar to the Valentine's Day fiesta, but we've been seeing online this, I guess, trend of the plant bingo, and we said, you know what, let's try it. It's a plant-themed bingo, and if you win plants, right? Or maybe other decor for your garden and other tools. So we thought it was something different that we haven't had before, and we wanted to try that out. Updates. On social media, we have 144 new Facebook followers and 28 Instagram followers. Regarding operations, our second Little Library opened at Rogers Park, I believe a month or 2 ago, and it's there, and it's the second one, and we have the first one that was opened in January here at the City Hall. And we've had event invites being mailed to our residents, just so that way we can broaden the scope of communication. We do communicate via email whenever people RSVP to our events, text message, mail, newsletter, social media website, so that way we can try to get as many people informed and in the loop of what's going on in our city. For the future events, we are planning a summer bash, right? So whenever the students go into summer, just a small celebration. That's scheduled for May 29th. For June, we have a summer market on June 20th, movies at the park, June 26th. For July, we have the 33rd Balcones Heights Jazz Festival. On July 17th, we have the Back to School Bash and vaccination clinic on 7/25. We did something similar last summer that the city had donated to an organization at the American Legion, but we thought it would be beneficial for the city to do it on its own and potentially invite those partners here. And those events are always very successful. We have families all over the county looking for these events and try to get school supplies, and vaccinations are also very important because they can be pricey, but we can offer those for free for the community. For August, we have the Fall Community Garden Kickoff. We're actually having the Community Garden Kickoff tomorrow, but you can't plant the same things that you'd plant in May as you would plant in August. So that right now we're having classes with A&M AgriLife. I'm sorry, it's A&M Prairie View University. So they're the ones that are educating, that will be educating our citizens. This is going to be tomorrow at Rogers Park from 6 to 7 p.m. And just so that way we can start taking care, by we, I mean the citizens. That way we start taking care of the garden, and hopefully it grows. We have four garden beds, Nick, that we have? And hopefully it can grow across the park, and we got to start somewhere, start small. So for August, we have another community garden event planned on the 15th. For September, we have another market day on September 12th, and movies at the park September 25th. For October, we have National Night Out on October 6th, and walk and talk classes for October 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. This would be at Rogers Park with partnering with AgriLife University. This is with AgriLife. And Hispanic Trails Festival on the 25th of October. And we're planning on a Halloween event on the 30th of October. Not too sure if it'll be, haunted house or similar to what we did in the movies, but we have that on the radar already. November, we have a market day on the 21st. People in the holidays, they're shopping, seeing what they can get for their relatives, their loved ones. So we thought it would be a good idea to have another market day in the Christmas shopping season. And then we have a Christmas ornament decoration event also happening that same day, which is a Saturday. So we're planning on having the market day that morning, and then that afternoon, since staff is already going to be here, have the decoration event. Hopefully we can have this at our community center if it's up and running. I know I believe the government shutdown is kind of put that at a pause right now. So hopefully by then it can be up and running, and we can have that event over there. For December, we have the Christmas tree lighting, which would be our second annual Christmas tree lighting on December 5th. I believe that was the same date we had it in 2025. Christmas movie night also December 11th, and then the Christmas parade for December 19th. I think that's a Saturday, I believe. So that's what I have for my report. For the Balcones Heights Fiesta, we had RSVPs, 3,496. Obviously, that doesn't mean all those people were going to show up, but it's just a good indicator for us to know what to expect, how many vendors to have, how much, just to be ready. I needed to have an idea of how many people were going to be there. So I think I can say for sure we had at least half of that. Around 8:39, some people were saying we had maybe a little bit over 2,000 or a little bit under 2,000. I think so. Gary Hobbs drew a big crowd, and I think the heat was making people wait. And once the sun was down, a lot of people started coming in. So that was it was a successful event. And I do want to take this time to thank all of the staff that it's a big event. When you're there as a spectator, it just looks like one more event, but there's a lot of work that went into it. So I do want to thank the police department, the fire department, especially the two firemen that were there with me at 5 in the morning, reinforcing the perimeter with cones and with tape. Every single city staff, everybody had a role in this, especially day of. We were very, very busy. I want to thank the mayor and the council for their support. And it was a successful event, and hopefully we can have it again next year. So if anybody has any questions, I can entertain them right now.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Go ahead, Mr. Hernandez.
So, Roy, we spoke earlier in the hallway, you mentioned that you estimated about 21,000, 25,000 from the vendors. Is that correct?
No. So let me clarify. So I think you mean the expenses. So expenses we had, and this is preliminary. We need to make sure that we have captured all the expenses and all the profits that came in. But just expenses on its own, we had 40,163. But we had $14,000 in sponsorships, and I say that very proudly because after speaking to our finance director, he mentioned I'm as of now the person that's brought in the most amount of sponsorships for any event. So I did understand that there was a concern for spending. So I made sure that we hit our partners that the city has, and it's a relationship that we have with the bank and with Linebarger and different entities. So they were able to sponsor. We also have $4,325 in food and non-food vendor fees. I am missing the alcohol vendor report. We are expecting a 50% split from the revenue. So, but they haven't. They're working on that report right now, so we'll know pretty soon. And metals, we sold $351. So that is a profit total of 18,676, which puts us at $21,487 total in expenditures as of now.
So Maria, can that 18,000 and change be added back into the same budget the expenses came out of?
Yes, that's what we're gonna be doing.
Okay. And then I had a suggestion for
Mhm.
you, for the event that's tomorrow, with the agriculture and
Mhm.
stuff at the park. Can you put that on the sign? We might have some
Yes.
last minute people show up if that's up there.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yield the floor. Okay, I think Jack was next, then we'll take you, Mr. Eversole.
I just wanted to echo you on the thanks to the staff and just the great job you all did. I mean, police, fire, I mean, you were the shining star of this event. I mean, it wouldn't have gotten done without you. The other thing I wanted to mention, I've noticed an increase in people looking for books at the Vivian Lane book shelter. So kudos on that too. It's working. People are going down there and they're pulling out the books to see what titles are there, and they're actually getting books. So kudos on that to you. I yield the floor.
Thank you. I do want to add, if there's any residents watching, if you have any books, please donate books. We're running a little low on our supplies, so if we don't have any books, we can buy some. But if the community has some they're not using, the idea for the community, little library, is to take a book but leave a book. You can take a book, you don't have to leave one, but it's better so we can keep it in stock.
Okay, he has yielded floor, Mr. Eversole.
Well, I think it's great. I would like a copy of what's coming up in the future. You named so many different things. I had a hard time writing them all down. You're doing a great job. So I was just hoping maybe you would give us a copy of that.
Thank you. In your packet, you should have a section that says future events under my report for the department report.
Great job.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
job.
Any other comments? Mr. Martinez, thank you very much for your.
Thank you, Mayor.
comments, sir.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Nick Ibarque, Code Enforcement Officer, Code Enforcement Summary, sir. Excuse me? We can take them after the city administrator. We'll go ahead and move with yours and go right along in schedule.
Hey, afternoon. I'll go over community development first and then wind down code enforcement. So, Hillcrest Rotary Construction, this is our MPO project. Design phase is still nearing completion. We're still at a 90%. We're still waiting on all approval from utilities. The STAWS infrastructure plans are at 60%. Our right-of-way acquisition team is sending out letters and the appraiser is reviewing those properties for all the parcels that we're looking to acquire from. Project start anticipated is still late 2026, early 2027. Crestview Phase 3, this is our CDBG project. Anticipated completion was April. We were ahead of schedule for some time. With that rain for a week, we were set back by about a week or so, but the asphalt is going to be placed this Wednesday. Once that's wrapped up, we'll have final inspections. We'll be completing that project soon. For our grants, we have the EPA Brownfields grant. Site inventory is still being reviewed by the city and Terracon. We did have a drawdown this quarter, so there was some reimbursement from that grant from the EPA. For CDBG 2026, I submitted that grant application last month. There's one pending document, which would be the approval of the minutes from last month. Once those have been approved, I'll submit those over to Bear County and we'll be complete on our application. New projects, this is just the Methodist. This has had no changes for the past 4 or 5 months now. From the information that I had a couple months ago, they're still waiting on approval from their board to go through with the project, but all the plans have been approved. Once they've selected a contractor and it's approved by the board, that'll kick off pretty soon. Public Works, the Hillcrest Sewer Main. Again, this is same information for the past few months. The sewer main is 1965 clay pipe. It is failing in many spots along Hillcrest, mainly 2910 Hillcrest Drive, where we have regular scheduled maintenance until our Hillcrest project takes place. The last time that they had maintenance was in February. We're looking at between 10 to 12 weeks every maintenance that we're going to have to do until we kick off the project. Tree maintenance at Rogiers Park. I wasn't able to present this last month. The arborist completed stump grinding on March 15th. Total cost for just tree maintenance, we're looking at $12,611. So stump grinding, $1,275. Tree trimming, $91.10. Wood chipper rental, which is what Public Works completed, $13.39. There was miscellaneous operating supplies by Public Works that think of your gas, your oil, your chains for the chainsaws. That's at $397, and then additional tools at $490, which would be that additional chainsaw. This saved quite a bit of cost having Public Works help join in there. Jeremy helped join in with a lot of the wood chipping. A lot of the quotes where we had haul off or wood chipping done as a service, we were looking at between $25,000 and $30,000 for them to just complete that. So I would say we saved about $10,000 to $15,000 on average right there. There was lighting upgrades that we completed at the park as well. This added lights to the pavilion area. So for events coming up, once it starts getting dark, we'll be able to turn those on. This will add an additional safety measure for PD as we're kind of driving by. I know homeless is kind of an issue in that area from time to time. There is new lighting fixtures in the restrooms as well, which is going to make it much nicer. For code enforcement, we have 42 cases in the month of March as opposed to 19 last year. A big, I guess, trend you're going to see in the next few months is overgrown vegetation with all the rainfall, spring coming around. Jeremy's on top of it, and we're notifying residents of weeds or overgrown grass. We'll give them time as the rain falls, right? We'll give them a few days to dry up and get their grass done, but you'll see an influx of those cases coming up. For the residential program, those inspections are starting. I believe we're starting on inspections that we for sure will know we'll start passing, and then we'll start moving on to those problem areas and making sure that we address those as they come up. The I-10 storm channel, this has been one of our only hotspots for encampments over the past few months. We did see that there was an influx of homeless over there because there was a nonprofit located within the area. That nonprofit has since moved. They're no longer located in the business park close by. So we're seeing that kind of decrease in unhoused over there. Jeremy is coordinating with Public Works to monitor the channel for debris, either left from the encampments or from storm runoff, but more often than not, it's storm runoff now. The community service day, this was, I believe, our second or third one. Again, a success. Jeremy's been out there with people from court that are doing our service hours. Mainly it's focused on cleaning up trash and debris. They focused on Fredericksburg, Crossroads, and Hillcrest, a lot of the more well-traveled right-of-ways, just to make sure that we're beautifying the area there. And then you'll look at upcoming discussion items in the next month, 2 months, as we kind of go through discussions with P&Z. we'll be looking at adopting more definitions for permitted uses. We're looking at data centers, vape shops, smoke shops, automotive detailing and wraps, because that's something we did adopt a few months ago but never defined, and then body shops. This does not necessarily mean that we're going to allow them within the city to do business. This is just making sure we have a clear definition and there's more way for us to regulate those within different zoning designations. Any questions?
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
Going back to Crestview Phase 3, when are they gonna blacktop that?
Wednesday. This Wednesday, the 29th.
29th?
Yes, sir.
And what company, what is the name of the company that you paid to do the trees at the park? You know,
Amputree. That is the company. Amputree, AMPU Tree.
and
I think we highlighted them on Facebook, right? After they did the work.
and then on to overgrown vegetation, it's always been my understanding that we lead by example. So you're going to address the overgrown vegetation issues. Does this include the areas between someone's back fence and that park that is never addressed?
There's a couple properties there.
Trees and brushes and debris and all that just looks unsightly.
Yeah, there's a few properties there that,
I just feel like y'all should address the house first before you address other people first. Do you lead by example?
yeah. So we're going to address those. I know that there's a few that have placed additional fences between our fence at the park. So we're going to make sure that those get cleaned up.
Thank you, Nick. That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Burton, go right ahead.
For the tree maintenance, on the high end, I think the highest quote we received was about 29.5. This was our lowest quote by far, but most of the quotes were between $20,000 and $30,000. Yes, sir.
Minor. Then the other thing is, I haven't been down there in the last couple of days, but Hillcrest Babcock, the flashing red lights has.
Yes, sir. So that's been out since last Tuesday. We did notify our traffic engineer the same day. That's a problem issue intersection. It's very dated. We're looking at upgrades that we need to do there, but they did send somebody out last week, but the repairs didn't stick, so they're sending somebody out again this week.
Excellent. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other further questions?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
Nick, as we're approaching mosquito season, I wanted to ask, I know last year we had a lot of issues, all the houses that backed up next to the drainage ditch. And not only with the mosquitoes, I think part of the problem was that there's debris in the ditch, right? And it doesn't allow the water to flow. And so then we have a buildup, and then that's where they lay the eggs. That's one thing. And then further down on Vivian by the park, we had some residents complain about a really strong odor there. And so I just want to make sure that we're doing something preventive instead of reactive for this upcoming.
Is that odor coming from the storm channel?
Yes.
Okay.
I yield.
I'll look into that complaint. I don't receive anything from the storm channel. As far as mosquitoes, I think that in the past we have addressed it. We've put stuff in the drainage channel. I just need to make sure that it's clear with our stormwater engineer. There's only so many different types of chemicals or anything like that we can place in there without adversely affecting the watershed, right? Because this watershed does empty out into Woodlawn.
Any further questions? Thank you, Nick. That covers both of your B and C, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So much for presenting that. We'll move down to the D item on City Secretary Monthly Report, Mr. Bravo. Let's move right along.
I'll make it quick.
Close this out and move.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to bring your attention to Open Records just for you. This is our new portal that people put in requests for information for open records. The visibility is much better. You can see the number that we've been working with. We launched right at March middle of March, and you can see the numbers have gone up. You also can see how long it takes us to open and close them. We continue to work with Just FOIA and making sure that we understand the process and that we're using the proper information so that we can extract good reports. I did attend training on April 9th and 10th for information, the Public Information Act, open meetings, and changes in Robert's Rules of Order. And then several of us attended the Dignity in Leadership training that was offered free from TML. At the bottom is the court. You can see that the traffic has gone up over the period from December through March and continues to increase. And I think the chief will talk about trusted driver and the ability to pay right when you get a ticket. People have taken advantage of that, and there's some information about that. I also I gave out a report called the Certificate of Withdrawal. This is Kip Torres. He is withdrawn from the campaign, his campaign. However, he withdrew late enough that he's still going to be on the ballot. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Any questions?
Anything else, Mr. Bravo?
No, sir.
Thank you so much for your.
Thank you.
presentation. City Administrator, Ms. Hernandez.
I'll go real quick. I'm starting to work on getting the certificate of obligation. I will be meeting with Victor Quiroga next month so we can start the process of the certificate of obligation for the Hillcrest project. As you know, it's been a project on the making for, I think, 3 to 4 years. So finally, we'll be getting there. We're thinking of starting the construction January of next year. So we'll be starting the process for the certificate of obligation. We also met with COSA, City of San Antonio, regarding the annexation of Jack in the Box. We just need to put together several places that we could swap for the Jack in the Box area that we want. That way the city, all the corner where Jack in the Box is can belong to the city of Balcones Heights, but that's still in the process. We're waiting also for the Commissioner's Court to approve the MOU for the solar lights that the county is going to be installing in the park. They're going to be installing 9 solar lights free of charge to the city. So we're looking forward to that, but the Commissioner's Court has to pass the MOU. And that is it for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Administrator. Let's go ahead and go with the medals now, and we'll move back over to the presentation of the medals for the fire department. So who will be presenting those?
Lieutenant Ruben Rosas.
Okay.
They're called challenge coins. Okay, so what they are is we had these struck for our department. We have 2 different ones. And the history of a challenge coin, I'll go ahead and tell you what the history of a challenge coin is according to legend, right? Of course, is that back in World War I, a lieutenant had gold medallions struck for his unit, and a pilot was shot down, and he was captured by French forces. Of course, they didn't know who he was. They didn't know if he was an enemy or not. But they saw a coin that he had, and they noticed the insignia, and so they knew that he was he was on their side. So it pretty much saved him from being a prisoner of war. So the military kind of carried that on. I personally did not serve in the military, but I've known a lot of people in the military that have these different challenge coins. Usually you get them for doing something above and beyond your unit. Fire department, police departments, they've also adopted it. I had these struck, I guess, like 3 years ago. We have 2 different versions. We have ones for our professional firefighters, which is a coin, which I'll pass around. Has our logo with the Yosemite Sam and We Come a Smoking that we have on our trucks. Also, it's our county unit is 102, and we have a motto that we put as "No one is coming, it's up to us." So the 4 people that we have on shift today, we have we can't rely on other people. We rely on ourselves. So no one is coming, it's for us, not for the citizens, right? You know, we are coming to the citizens, but that's our motto is if no one is coming, it's up to us. So what we do is we give these out to when somebody's made probation, which is after 1 year of our department, doing tests, knowing the city, making sure that the officers and everybody else around, that they feel that they're comfortable, that they actually are no longer what we consider a t-shirt wearer, right? They don't wear our fire department t-shirt, right? Because when you start, that's how, you know, you got to earn your spot, right? We give you an opportunity to come in and become a fireman, firefighter, and you got to earn your spot. So once these guys have made their 1 year probation, we hand them their challenge coin. And so their challenge coin is meant to be as a reminder that you belong to something better, you know, greater than yourself. So you should always carry I guess the way it goes is, which we had some other ones struck. Okay, I would get to that too. We had a Citizens Fire Academy about 3 years ago, maybe, when I had these made. And so the thing is that you pull out your coin, you're supposed to have it all the time, and you tap it. And I'm challenging somebody here that I have here in City Council because they were part of our Citizens Fire Academy. You have your coins there? So he has his coin. So if we were out somewhere else and I challenged him and he has his coin, then I would owe him an adult beverage. If he does not have his coin, then he would owe me an adult beverage. That's just kind of the little I guess, tradition now with the challenge coin. But yes, he's got his coin on him. And so when we hand these out, you're supposed to have them in your pocket at all times, or your wallet, and there he goes. And he could pass that one around just so you can see the ones that we also give them out to, I think some of the police officers have some. When we had a fire not too long ago, and they made a save, and they helped out a lot. And so we issued those officers a challenge coin from our department. But anyway, I'd like to go ahead and present these coins to, first it's going to be firefighter Joe Yanes. Huh? Yeah, you can stay up here. That's fine. It's going to be Casey Ellswick. And Mason Youngman. Now, unfortunately, Mason will be leaving us. He's going to a different department, but he still made his probation, and he's still part of our family. So we do have one more person. He had another commitment with his mother, had a birthday party to go to. So it will be Brian Ricklick, and he is he's not here, but we'll be giving his chance commitment. So you got 4 guys that just made probation. So congratulations. Thank you for letting us do this presentation, and we plan on doing it every time we have anybody that makes a presentation. Right now we have, I believe, 3 firefighters that are about a month in, maybe 2 months, I don't know, less than a year. So once they get their 1 year, then we'll issue them their challenge. So, all right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on down to the fire department presentation A. Go ahead, Mr. Marroquin.
So for the departmental update,
Yes, I think you're up now.
okay, so as Mr. Joe Bravo mentioned, I attended the Dignity and Leadership with myself and 2 of my lieutenants. So we went to that TML Dignity and Leadership class. As mentioned, also firefighter Mason Youngman will be leaving us in May. He'll be going to San Antonio Fire Department. The 3 lieutenants I have, they passed their CPR instructor course, but they need to do an instructional presentation to members of the American Heart Association before they actually get recognized as CPR, BLS, basic life support instructors. So once they complete that, we'll be able to conduct CPR courses in-house. I completed Fire Instructor 2 course, and I'm just waiting for my state exam, and that is going to be on Friday. An update on the tower. It's been out for some time now with extensive mechanical issues. The truck is an older truck. It was purchased in 2006, so it's starting to have a lot of costly problems. So we're going to have to start looking at options as to what we're gonna do with that truck moving forward. I'm trying to keep it running and in use as best as I can, but like I said, it's starting to be costly. And that's, all I got for the update.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Let's move on down to the Police Department update and report, please.
So with reference to the police department, the officers have been working really hard. They, during the month of March, they handled 621 calls. Offense reports were 62, assignment and incident were 89, crash reports 22. They made a total of 50 arrests, 12 felony, 33 misdemeanor, 3 felony warrants. Misdemeanor warrants were 10, misdemeanor cite and release were 4. Criminal trespass 21. Traffic stops consisted of 335, radar citations 24, hazardous citations 17, non-hazardous 136, warning citations 263, and then 1 for aggressive driver. They also performed 619 neighborhood checks, towed 17 vehicles, released 8. So total citation issued for March were 440. But to piggyback a little bit off of what Mr. Bravo was talking about with Trusted Driver, which is our new ticket writing system, the system is a multifaceted system that has been used for not just traffic citations, but also for misdemeanor cite and release, as well as criminal trespass warnings, which has saved a bunch of man hours and money on the man hours in the performance of both the officers' duties and municipal court employees' duties. If you reflect on the paid online chart, you'll see that it's a little bit of a learning curve, both for the officers as well as for the citizens. But the citizens have adapted pretty well and are using the online resource of being able to pay their citations through that. That means the revenue is coming in from these citations a lot quicker, but it also cuts back on municipal staff hours as well as the court time. That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Let's go ahead and move on right down the line. Consent agenda items. Number 6. These items may be acted upon in a single motion. No separate discussion or action on these items will be held unless requested by a council member. Public comment on these items may be heard during the public comment period. However, that does not mean the item will be considered and outside the consent agenda. We have the approval of minutes, March 23rd, 2026, and approval of finance report for March 2026 as well. We got approval minutes for March 23rd, 2026, and approval of the finance report for March 2026. We have any questions pertaining to this agenda item, or you have a motion on the floor to go ahead and accept it? Everyone should have had a chance to review everything to make sure that whatever questions you have, you can bring them up now.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to
No,
approve the
Mr.
minutes.
Excuse me, Mr. Hernandez. Do you want to be recognized first?
May I be recognized?
Yes, sir, you may. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes and the finance report as stated.
Okay, do we have a motion on, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Hernandez. Do we have a second to that motion?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Burton, you want to be recognized first?
Mother, may I be recognized?
It's not mother, it's mayor, sir. Be a little respectful. Don't start, Jack, please, with your playful games. We're following parliamentary.
May I be recognized?
Yes, you, sir, you may.
To make a second.
Okay, we have a second on the floor. Now I'll call for any further discussion. Okay, I do have some things I just want to bring up. There's some spelling on the business items. Mr. Bravo, I think you need to go back onto the minutes and take a look at the spelling. You have Mr. George Monsiv, and it should be, instead of Monsiu, it should be Monsiv on that. And then also on the business items on the second page, on item number 5, you have a misspelling again there on our own fire chief, Thomas Maureen. It's Thomas Maroquin. And I'd like for you just to go through the whole document and double check all your spelling. Because we've been having a lot of mistakes there on the spelling of names. I appreciate it very much. That's all I have. Anybody else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Weaver? Okay, so all in favor, aye. We have all 5 ayes, no nays. Motion carries on 5-0 with ayes. Okay. So now we will move on to the item of the business items. The following items are for discussion, consideration, and possible action. 1, discussion and possible action regarding purchase of a 14 new Scott Airpack X3 Pro SBAs, self-contained breathing apparatus, and 32 spare SCBA cylinders. Fire Chief Thomas Marroquin.
You can just say that. Good evening, visitors, staff, city council. Today I'd like to do a presentation requesting the purchase of 14 new SCBA bottles and 32 new air packs. The current packs we are using right now were purchased in 2014 using a grant, the AFG fire grant. The packs are nearing their end of life and have fallen behind in meeting current and updated safety benchmarks. It's important for firefighters to use equipment that is in compliance with the most recent safety standards, since their lives depend on it. Next one. Since the purchase, NFPA has issued multiple compliance updates on the SCBA, so currently we're about 2 or 3 behind. Some of the updated features are second stage regulator retention removal, pneumatic data logging, universal emergency breathing system, and a universal pass tone. So the second stage regulator retention is your regulator that goes on your face. It's a 2-motion system that you have to remove it. It allows it to where it doesn't just come off easily. You have to do multiple things. So that safety feature has been added. Pneumatic data logging. Pneumatic data logging is it records the individual's air levels, their breathing rate, location, and when they turn their bottle on. So there's a more accountability in the system there. Universal emergency breathing safety system. That's a connection that's going to be universal for every fire department that uses an SCBA, so that if they get in trouble, they can just connect and they don't have to worry about manufacturers having their own what do you call it, connection there. A universal pass tone. Your pass tone is your alert that lets you know that a firefighter's in trouble. So it became universal that they all sound the same so that everybody can recognize it. And it's a certain high pitch that a firefighter that's keen to the sound will know that that's a firefighter in distress. The packs we're looking, you go to the next one. We're looking to purchase the Scott Air Pack. It's a 4,500 PSI pack. It's rated for 45-minute. And the reason we want that is you get longer work cycles. You get more air for training, firefighting, and rescue operations. And then it has a buddy breather system, which allows 2 SCBAs to connect it during rescue operations. It also comes with the SIMS 2, which is the Scott Emergency Management System, which allows a incident commander outside of the scene to follow a firefighter's moves and their breathing rate on a monitor based off of the pneumatic data logging and that new system that's in there. It's all connected Bluetooth. So it makes tracking a firefighter's location in the event of a firefighter down. So, you know, that's a upgraded feature that our current packs don't have. And one of the important things is These will be more compatible with our neighboring fire departments. We're the only fire department in the area that uses the low pressure air packs that we currently have. They're, like I said, they're nearing their end of life and they're low pressure and nobody uses them except for us. So it's time we upgrade. Again, compatible with neighboring departments, support rescue, life-saving rescue operations for downed firefighters. The air pack we're using right now is a Delta Air Viking 2014. It's a 2200 PSI, rated for 22 minutes. Again, we're the only department that uses low pressure cylinders, not compatible with other departments, no data recording for accountability during emergencies. And face harness, the head harness is only a 2-point harness system, which it doesn't allow for a proper seal. The ones we're looking at are going to have a 5-point, meaning the straps that go around the back of your head, it secures your head for longer. Again, requesting 14 Scott Air Packs with 32 spare bottles for a total cost of $165,000. We have got some information there from Community Leasing Partners, which provides purchase options of whether you want to put any money down or not, and it goes up. It's a 7-year lease to own option. And again, the need for the new packs, it's not about keeping up with trends or vanity projects. It's about protecting firefighters, protecting the guys so that they can show up and protect you guys. I'm requesting the purchase of this vital piece of equipment used for firefighters' lives and immediately dangerous to life and health environments. Thank you. And I can show you the air pack we have right now.
Yeah, be recognized.
Yes, sir, Mr. Burton.
If we were to order these today, that's 6-month backlog to get them, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a time delay. I don't know the exact time, but they're made. They're not just sitting around.
I spoke with Floyd today, and he said we had enough money in the general fund 10-490-470. And he suggested, while I suggested the first time this came up, going with a 0 down payment, he suggested doing the $33,000 down payment, which you have 20K in your safety account minus 1,200. I don't know what the 1,200 was spent on, but you have under 20,000, and the rest could be made up out of we have a balance of 197,000 in that 10-490-470 that can pay for these. I yield the floor.
Mayor, may I have the
Yes,
floor?
go right ahead, sir.
I'd like to address the council on this topic.
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
I don't know if you've ever been scuba diving, you're 60, 50 feet underwater and that mask starts leaking and you're panicking. As a neighbor pointed out to me, you may have the option to tap your partner on the shoulder and share their mask on your way up. Okay? When you're in a fire, you're breathing. If that mask leaks, okay, you've got carpet burning, padding burning, wood burning, furniture burning. All those chemicals are very, very toxic combined together. And if they leak any at all, you may not have the opportunity to pat your partner on the shoulder. It's one breath and you're done. I strongly recommend that we supply these. That unit right there was bought in 2014. It's outdated. It's dangerous. If any one of you wants to vote no on this, I want you to look at that camera up there when you say no, because I want the citizens of Balcony Heights to know that you value a dollar more than you value a fireman's life. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Let's go ahead and move forward to the actual item. Discussion and possible action. Is the council wanting to take action on this item?
I move, oh, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir, you may.
I move to make a recommendation to approve the 165,000 using our financial officer's recommendation of the 165 with a down payment of $33,000 for the item as budgeted.
Okay, Councilman Burton has made a motion. Do we have a second to that motion?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, you may.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second by Councilman Hernandez. I'll go ahead and call for further discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, all 5 ayes, no nays, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Item 2, discussion and possible action. Y'all can just please refrain from the clapping and stuff until we finish our meeting. Discussion and possible action regarding sponsorship of a full sponsorship of Wonder Theater main stage production of Matilda, Christopher Rodriguez, Executive and Artistic Director. Go right ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
Hello, I'm Chris Rodriguez. I'm the Executive and Artistic Director of Wonder Theater. Wonder Theater is a nonprofit community theater located in Wonderland of Americas. Our mission is to provide musical theater, entertainment, and programming that's educational and affordable for our community. We've been in our new home for about 2.5 years, and we appreciate all the support Balcones Heights has given us. We've had a few conversations with the mayor and a few other representatives about how we can work together and how Balcones Heights can help us out. We've talked about possibly using some of the hot tax to help support us. After meeting with our team, we discussed that we think the best option for us to partner together is to sponsor our upcoming production of Matilda, the musical. It's the Tony Award-winning show based on the Roald Dahl book. Matilda's a classic story of a brilliant young girl with imagination, resilience, and special powers. The show is about empowerment, standing up to injustice, and the impact of teachers in our lives. The show has broad appeal for families, humor that lands for kids and adults. This production will feature 18 kids that age range from 7 to 15 from our Wonder Academy, as well as 22 local adult performers. This production acts as our summer production that creates interest for families coming to Bexar County for vacation, as well as giving opportunities for families to come inside and cool off a little bit and experience a magical show. Over 3,000 tickets will be sold for this production. Valero Energy is sponsoring our educational night, and it's going to create opportunities for us to supply tickets to underserved students in our community to come see the show for free. We are asking for a 10K sponsorship that comes with several perks for Balcones Heights to be up front and center to let you know that, to let our community know that they helped make this production possible. We are very grateful for giving the chance to pitch this idea to y'all. We appreciate your support, and let me know if you have any questions.
Have any questions for Mr. Rodriguez?
May I be recognized?
Councilman Burton, go ahead.
Is any of this money you're asking for on the investment, is it going to be used for equipment, lights?
No, so it's for the production show, so it helps pay for royalties, costumes, artist fees, payments for the performers. The total budget for the show is a little over $5K.
In speaking with our finance director today, Mr. Mayor and council, I was asking him how we could fund this, because we've already pretty much used up our 15% for the arts in hot funds. But he said we could pull some money out of Fund 30. It's an economic incentive fund. If it's going to be used for any, and it said contribution would be help cover sets, props. That's why I was asking. We could justify the money out of that. Maria, do you have any?
We suggest for the money to be allocated from here. We have a fund balance on that account of 345,428.
I yield the floor, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
What account has 348,000?
Economic Incentive Fund, that's a 3370.
You still have the floor, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the funds to Wonderland for in the amount of $10,000.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Hernandez. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, we have Councilman Burton has seconded that motion. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mayor, I'd like to discuss that.
Just 1 second, Councilman Sellers. I didn't hear you, Mr. Weaver. Yes, okay, aye. So we have all ayes. Now we'll go ahead and call for discussion. Go ahead, Councilman Sellers.
Thank you. Have you done this play before somewhere else?
No, this will be the first time that our theater does this production.
What is your expected turnout?
Since it's our summer show and we have a lot of kids in the show, like I said, we have 18 performers. We're expecting a lot of families, a lot of tios and tias coming out to the show to come support. Our summer shows always do really well, but since this is very family centric and we have a lot of kids in the production, we're pretty sure it's going to sell out for our theater.
So besides this paper and this council, who else have you advertised this to? Have you gone to schools and mailed letters?
Yes. We're currently marketing our other show right now. As soon as it opens, we'll transition to Matilda. Before school ends, we'll be going to all the schools to let them know about the show we have coming up. For the sponsored educational night, we'll be reaching out to those schools as well. Our goal is to also partner up with a hotel at Balcones Heights as well to let them know if they have anyone coming in to visit Balcones Heights. That way we can track it. Maybe we can give them a discount to the show. So it is a top priority for us since it is our big summer show of the season.
Thank you. Maria, do we have the funds for this?
Yes, sir, we have that fund.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Motion on the floor to approve by Councilman Hernandez, second by Councilman Burton. And we have called a vote, so go ahead and, did we call the vote already? Yes, we did. So it's already approved. We had the discussion. We'll move on to the next item. It has been approved. Mr. Rodriguez, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Wish you luck on your production.
Point of order. Yeah.
Yes.
May I be recognized? Point of
Yes.
order. He didn't vote, so it wasn't because he was asking, he wanted to ask a question.
Discussion before the vote.
We call it discussion after the vote.
I'm going to vote yay, but.
Okay, so we have five.
Just to be clear, I just wanted to be clear.
Okay, thank you. Item number 3, public hearing, special use permit, wholesale trade and outdoor sales and display, Zone M2 Commercial Industrial Services located at 141 Balcones Heights Road, legal description NCB 11681, Lot E, IRR 181 feet of 43, in parentheses 1000.493, CB 5288 with IRR 199 feet of 43, parentheses 2.507 at the request of United Rentals Realty LLC. The time is right now 7:09. We'll go into a public hearing, correct? All right. So the time is 7:09 p.m. and we will now do a public hearing on this particular item. Do we receive any public comments? Do we have any public comments? Okay. I'm not aware of this item, so if you can go ahead and brief us, please.
Yes, sir. I'll give you a background. I believe that we have United Rentals here as well as on the Zoom, so they might want to chime in here later. So on March 11th, 2026, the city received a special use permit application from United Rentals Realty LLC for the operation of an equipment rental business at 141 Balcony Heights Road. The property is zoned M2 Commercial or Industrial Services, a district in which equipment rental services classified under wholesale trade require approval of a SUP prior to operation. Before going to the presentation, P and Z did motion to recommend this SUP to City Council 3-0. Okay, so again, there is a property description and location, 141 Balcony Heights Road. This is located off the I-10 frontage road on the northeast side of the city. It is zoned M2 Commercial or Industrial Services. That's a picture from Google Maps from a couple months ago whenever it was boat rentals, but it looks somewhat the same as that is depicted. Here's an overview and pictures of the recent upgrades that they have done over the past few months. As you see the overview, I want you to imagine a line going down the middle of the property there. The east side of that property is going to be San Antonio. The west side abutting Balcony Heights Road is going to be our property. They did do a pavement resurface there a couple months ago to upgrade the infrastructure. The back is unchanged. Next slide, please. Yeah, that's not how it should be. Interesting. Okay, so that changed a little bit, but that first image right there, that is pulled from BCAD. The left side of your picture there where it's kind of highlighted blue, that's Balcony Heights. The east side on your right is San Antonio. I'm not sure why the picture got messed up there, but if you go to the next slide. This zoning map here will give you a better idea of what portion of that is in Balcony Heights, and this is the only M2 designated area within the city. Within 200 feet, we have O1 low-rise office to your south. That is the business park on Spencer Lane. And then you also have many mixed-use areas, one apartment. You have Kia Motor there as well. And there is also another business park right along the frontage road of I-10. You'll see O2 high-rise office. That is going to be your self-serve storage area that is not within 200 feet, so they did not receive a notice, but that is a property within proximity there. The only property that would be a concern around this is the apartments, Harrison Grants, but they're the only responded to the 200-foot notice that they voted in favor of this special use permit. Next slide, please. Just to go over the special use permit one more time, what their proposed use is wholesale trade with outdoor sales and display. I want you to kind of focus in on that last portion there where such as lumber yards or equipment rental facilities. United Rentals is an equipment rental facility, and as designated by the permitted uses table, this is a special use permit that would be required for them to do any operation here. Next slide, please. I took a couple images from United Rental locations within San Antonio, just to depict how clean, how tidy, how organized these are. This isn't going to be a rental place that's causing dirt runoff, causing an eyesore, or anything like that. I don't have the exact location of these, but I believe there's one in the Leon Valley area. There's one on the east side. There's one on the northeast side, southeast side, but all of them are relatively the same, very clean, very tidy, very organized, not causing a disturbance to any of their neighbors. Next slide, please. Again, one more image of another United Rentals facility within San Antonio. So staff recommendation, we're proposing, proposed use supports purpose of M2 district. Looking at the purpose of what an M2 serves is it's intended to provide commercial or light industrial uses in a low-rise configuration that are service-oriented. United Rentals clearly fits the service-oriented business. This also addresses weaknesses and threats identified in City Plan 2040. A shrinking tax base, underutilized properties, homeless population, and aging retail properties. They've started to address the aging retail property by investing money into the infrastructure there. Homeless population I want to talk about as an intangible. United Rentals is one of the largest, if not the largest, equipment rental in the United States. More often than not, I'm sure they've encountered homelessness at some point somewhere in the country, right? And our only hotspot, which has declined in the past few months, is the I-10 frontage road area, that storm channel. They'll know how to address these issues and be able to mitigate that issue for the city or help us address it. So staff does recommend approval for the SUP. I will take questions once we go into discussion. If United Rentals wants to chime in here or on the call.
We have any questions from the council members?
Yeah, be right.
Yes, Councilman Burton, go ahead.
Before we go in, United Rentals is here. I want to
Okay.
give them an opportunity to speak.
Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you.
My name is Steve Chapel. I'm an operations manager for Texas and Louisiana for United Rentals Trent Safety, which is a specialty division of United Rentals, which would be using this property. We rent and sell safety equipment to underground utility contractors, trench boxes, road plates, things of that nature. That's what we use in this location for, much less motorized equipment, very specialized. We've been in Leon Valley for 30 years at our little location on Grissom Road. We're finally growing out of that place after that time. So that's why we're looking to move, effectively double the size of our operation. So excited about it, excited about the highway access, and looking forward to any question that you have that I can possibly answer. And this is Adrian Tedder. He's our construction manager. If there's any questions on the construction project.
Yes, go right ahead, Chair.
Will there be any repairs to equipment like oil, gas, that sort of?
No, sir, not on
keeping.
Not on the scale that you would normally be affiliated with a rental yard. Like I said, most of our equipment is steel plates and aluminum modular pieces. So we have very, very little motorized equipment.
And then I guess the $1 million question for Mr. Barque would be, or maybe this gentleman knows, where does the cash register sit?
It is in Balcones Heights. The entire building lies within Balcones Heights. The only portion that's within San Antonio is that back parking lot. There's no building in San Antonio.
I yield the floor. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Appropriate question.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Councilman Sellers, go
You
right
might
ahead.
understand, thank you, Mayor, might understand you're not gonna have these high lifts 40 foot in the air with baskets.
Not at this location, no,
It's
sir.
not at that location. And then you're gonna have that property already does have an 8 foot fence around it.
6 and 7.
Yeah. So it's a secure area for homeless to get in there, and whatever.
So we
They'll have
mitigate that.
security cameras and stuff like that. 'Cause it's, like you said, it's been a bad area for homeless. We want to try to protect that.
Yes, sir. Us too.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yield the floor, Mr. Sellers. Any other questions?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment. I think just the pure fact of having an operating business with a lot of traffic is going to reduce the, the problems with the homeless. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this as stated in the ordinance.
Okay. I think Councilwoman Weaver had a question, but we'll take it after the vote. We'll have more questions. Do you want to speak before the vote? It's the old boat place? Yeah, right before you get the access road off of Balcones and Spencer and Balcones going down the road?
Have to close.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. So we have to close the public hearing first, and then we'll go back and open and take your vote. Good observation. Thank you. So any other questions for the gentleman? Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Welcome to our home and community. So the time now is going to be 7:19 p.m. We're closing the open public hearing, and we will now take any further discussion. Ms. Weaver, you had the floor. Go right ahead. Ms. Weaver, is there anything else that you had concerned, just other than location? Okay, motion's on the floor by Councilman Hernandez. Do we have a second to that motion?
Oh, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
who would like to have that, Mr. Sellers or Mr. Burton? Y'all said it at about the same time. Okay. This is why we say if mayor can we be recognized, that way I know who wants to make the motion. So who wants to do it again? You will, Mr. Sellers? You want to make the motion then? Mr. Burden, you're all right with that? Yeah, you were recognized and. we'll
Okay, I
recognize your
second
vote.
it.
Okay, we have a second and all in favor?
Aye.
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 You got aye. All ayes. So ayes have it, motion carries, no nays. So just for the clarification for everyone, this is why I'm following through with parliamentary procedure, that you ask the mayor to be recognized or the chair to be recognized so that there's no confusion. Nobody talks over anybody and everybody can go in an orderly way. So thank you so much for your cooperation. All right, we will now move into the next item, number 4, discussion and possible action ordinance of the city of Balcones Heights for the purpose of establishing special use permit to operate wholesale trade with outdoor sales and display business at 141 Balcones Heights Road, establishing a severability clause and setting an effective date. Go ahead, sir, from Community Development.
I'm sorry, did you say the special use permit or the temporary
We're on
signage?
number 4.
Number
5. 4 was the one that we just voted on.
3, okay, excuse me. So we're on number 5. I'm sorry, I thought we had just voted on 3, but it was 3 and 4 combined. Okay. Number 5, public hearing amendments to Chapter 153, Article 12, sign and advertising devices, including 153.12.20 temporary signs. We will now open the public hearing at 7:21 p.m.
Great.
We have it open for public hearing. Do we receive any public comments, sir, on this?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, just to give a little background, over the past year, our department has received feedback from local businesses indicating that current temporary sign ordinances do not effectively support their promotional needs. Many have expressed concerns that this is the existing regulations are overly restrictive and limit their ability to attract customers. So this has been brought up to P&Z. We've discussed it for probably the past 4 or 5 months now. Consecutively, we've analyzed a couple different ordinances from neighboring municipalities, and this is what P&Z has come up with. If you can scroll down a little bit, please. Okay, so what you're seeing in green is going to be changes. If there's any strike throughs, that's going to be removed entirely. So properties fronting collectors are going to be gentlemen, those types of roads. This is not currently identified within the ordinance. This is going to allow them to place a 8 square foot sign per face or 5% of the building facade. Scroll down, please. Maximum height, this is where we're getting most of our complaints. So properties fronting limited access highways, that's going to increase from 6 feet to 8 feet. Properties fronting major arterials from 4 to 6 feet, minor arterials 3 to 6, Hillcrest 3 to 6, and then collectors again was not identified as 4 feet. I do want to make a comment. The M3 district is just cellular antennas. There's no building, there's no commercial area. There's no businesses that operate under the M3 zoning district, so that's why it is not authorized. It is not anything that's going to be needed to promote a business of any kind. If we'll look at the minimum setbacks, this is going to change from 15 feet to 10 feet. Quite a few properties, once they start putting them at the designated 15-foot setback, it's hard to view from the public right away from any roads as you're driving by at quicker speeds. So just to get a little more visibility as you're approaching the property. The most changes are going to come from the time limitations. So I talked about it a couple times over the past few months, but the text of any one sign may not be displayed more than 30 days per calendar year. That has been the most restrictive part of this ordinance. As it currently stands, if you get a permit, you're allowed to have your sign for 30 days. You must wait 14 days before you apply for a new permit. And once you get that new permit, after the conclusion of those initial 45 days, you cannot have the same sign displayed as that first one. So you need to be collecting signs throughout the year to display 6 or 7 different types of signs. So we'll change this from 30 days to 90 days per calendar year. And then there is no change of expiration after 14 days. You'll be able to be reissued a new permit. Scroll down a little bit, please. Number of signs is going to stay at 2. That way we're making sure that it is not overly excessive along a lot of these properties that don't have a large front facade or a lot of property. You don't want to see 5 or 10 within a property. You want to make sure that it's still nice and tidy. We did take Section G from Alamo Heights. This is something that was not currently included. Temporary signs will be well maintained throughout the time they are displayed. This just ensures that code compliance is able to enforce that they're not faded, they're not ripped, anything of that sort, and we can make sure that they're taken down at an appropriate time if they do become worn down quickly. Any questions?
You have your
Questions? Councilman Burton, did you say
Does-
you want to be recognized? Go ahead.
Yes. Does this include flag signs?
Yes. Yeah, feather flags would fall under temporary signs. Banners do not. Banners fall under a different signage. I'm sorry, banners do fall under temporary signs.
Yes.
Sorry.
banners.
Banners and feather flags. Yes, sir. Sorry.
We were having that discussion whether, there was a certain florist shop that wanted to put up Mother's Day or
Yeah.
Easter and they were so close together. So this brings it to a 90-day. They can put it up. Of course, Mother's Day is just one day.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Still.
But they'll be wanting to promote that weeks ahead of time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the council?
Yes,
Councilman Sellers, go ahead.
thank you. Where did you come up with a 10% for
That was already pre-existing. That's not something I came up with. That was part of the ordinance. That's not, yeah, I haven't changed that part. That's our existing ordinance. Yeah. So the only changes are going to be that green text or the strike throughs.
Yield the floor, Mr. Sellers. Okay. Any other questions?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hernandez, go right ahead.
First, I'd like to comment. I think that the Planning and Zoning Commission is doing a great job doing research and, getting ideas from other municipalities. I also wanted to ask Mr. Mr. Eversole, because I know this was kind of like his pet project, what his thoughts were.
You yield the floor, Mr. Hernandez.
Sir.
Mr. Eversole, would you like to have the floor? Go right ahead, sir.
Microphone.
Nick and I had talked about this over several times about what was better for the businesses in our local community. I think this is what he came up with, and I think we should run it up and see how it goes for a while, but it's a lot clearer. He looks like he took out a lot of the double words and confusion. I think the funny thing about the signs in 14 days and pulling them in and pulling them out, and you can only have one sign a certain way, and you can't have, so you're always having to change your sign and change your permits. And the length of the sign was something also that we fixed. I think that was really important. 30 days seems like really fast. You put the sign up, you're taking it back down, and then you gotta wait 14 days, get another permit, and then go back at it. I mean, it's just not cost effective for a business to try and advertise and reach community. So I think these changes that he's made are very positive. It was just a very confusing thing, and it just really caused a lot of frustration in our regular businesses.
Do we have any other comments from the council members? And we didn't have any public comments at all, so the time is 7:28 PM, and we're going to close the public session hearing. And now we'll go ahead and open it up for a vote from the council. What say you, council? On this item?
Are we voting on number 6 now?
Yes, we're on number 5, is correct, Mr. Bravo?
There's no action on 5.
But 5 is the public hearing that addresses number 6.
Right.
So now you
They
can
go in
open,
pairs.
you can
So
open.
4 went,
But there's
3 went with 4, and then 5 goes with 6.
So we're
You're voting on 5.
action on number 6, right?
That is correct.
All right.
Mhm.
I'm going to make a motion to accept number 6.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and accept your comments right now as being asked to be recognized, and then you have a motion to go ahead and approve item number 6. Do we have a second to his motion?
May I be
Councilman Eversole,
recognized?
Go right ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Eversole.
Second it.
Okay, we have a second to that motion. We'll open it up for comment. Any other comments? Mr. Burton, do you have something to say?
Oh, I was just commenting that you didn't recognize him before you made the.
Well, he has to be recognized first. Okay, so we have a first and a second on the floor. Any other comments? I call for any comments. You had something you want to say or not? You,
No, thank you.
okay, all right, all in favor, let's call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we all have 5 ayes and no nays. Motion carried by the ayes. Takes care of number 5 and 6. Now we'll move into number 7. Another public hearing. The time is going to be 7:30 PM, and we will now open this public hearing as well. Public hearing amendments to Chapter 153, Article 4, Design and Form Standards, including 153.4.1.3 and 153.4.2.6. This open hearing, do we have any public comments on this one? Okay, go ahead, Mr.
Okay, fantastic. This one's a very long ordinance for us to just add 2 words into it. So just a little background. A few months ago, the Planning and Zoning Commission identified a gap in the current ordinance, noting that cargo and shipping containers are not included in the screening requirements for commercial areas. So I know we talked about the cargo and shipping container ordinance in length, probably about 6-8 months ago now. But if you do receive a permit, you do not need to screen that cargo or shipping container in any zoning designation as it stands. So as you'll see in 153.4.1.3, the green text is going to be your addition. Scroll down, please. That first one's going to address all zoning districts besides MXD. And then this next ordinance, keep going, please. 153.4.2.6, screening in MXD. We'll add cargo shipping container language again, just to make sure that it's screened in that area. Any questions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Sellers, go right ahead.
Nick, didn't we bring cargo containers into this discussion just a few months ago?
We did not bring up screening as part of it.
But it pertained to the same cargo as the cargo containers.
Yeah, it pertains to the same cargo containers, but it's not identified in that ordinance.
What did we say at that time then?
Everything, I think we had changed the ordinance to make sure that
Yes, we
it
did.
was
Yes, we
commercial
did.
uses.
So how is that affecting that resolution today?
So the screening that was allowed to be done in that first one was allowed to be placed behind fences at 6 feet. Screening entirely in MXD or any other zoning designation is going to force you to move that up within 2 feet. The screening materials just kind of depends, right? Whether you want to use landscaping or fences or anything like that.
From what I've read here, you're basically stating the same thing, that it has to be behind a fence.
The original ordinance, it was not allowed to be viewed from the public right of way. This ordinance addresses if you're sitting in your backyard and you see the shipping container from your backyard, but not from the public right of way. So this one protects more business owners and residents as opposed to the city public right of way.
I just really wanted you to clarify what our resolution was several months ago as to what.
I don't have the
proposing
full
now.
ordinance. I have the full ordinance in front of me, but I don't remember every exact change that we made.
It's not contradicting each other.
It's not contradicting.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
Councilman Burton, go right ahead.
Can you define screening?
I could if I had the full ordinance in front of me. Can you scroll down?
I'm assuming it could be a landscape, an opaque fencing or,
Okay, so screening, keep going down. Keep coming down, please. Coming down, coming down, coming down. A little more. It's going to be after the open spaces. Here we go.
there it is. Okay, thank you. I know, but I didn't see it. I yield the floor.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Mr. Councilman Hernandez, go right ahead.
So for clarity in my mind, what my understanding, what I'm hearing is our current ordinance says that it has to be screened. The new one is saying only from public eye, but if you're in your own business backyard, so to speak, that can be visible. Is that what you're saying? The original one said it had to be screened all the way around?
The original one says it only needs to be screened to not be viewed from the public right away. So if you place it in the back of your property and I can't see it from the sidewalk or the street, you're fine, but you might be able to see it from the person behind them in their backyard, right? So this new changes is going to add on, it's not going to conflict in any way. It's just adding to make sure that you're screening from abutting properties as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, any other concerns, Councilman Eversole?
So if I have my business and I put a container in the backyard and, I mean, we have 6-foot fences and the container is like 8 or 10, well, I mean, it's gonna be hard to hide.
Through screening, it doesn't need to be a fence. It can be shrubbery, it can be greenery. There's alternative ways for you to screen it. It might not be easy, but it's trying to protect your neighbors.
You yield the floor, Mr. Eversole. Okay, any other questions for our staff? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. The time is 7:36 PM. We'll go ahead and close the open session of the public hearing. And how does the council say on item number 8? Discussion and possible action and ordinance for the city of Balcones Heights amending 1534 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Balcones Heights, Texas, related to design and form standards, providing regulations, providing a repealer, providing a severability clause, providing for publication, and providing an effective date. I'll say you, council, on this vote.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Councilman Hernandez, you have the floor.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this amendment as written.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Hernandez. Do we have a second to that motion?
Have you recognized?
Yes, sir. Mr. Burton?
I move the second.
Okay, we have a second by Councilman Burton. I'll call for any further questions or discussion on this matter. If there's no further questions on the matter, then we'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, so we have 2 nays, one by Councilman Eversole and one by Councilman Sellers. So we have Councilman Weaver as a yay, Councilman Hernandez as a yay, and Councilman Burton as a yay. Motion carries 3 yays to 2 nays. The motion carries by yays.
Excuse me, Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask something. If that person behind you in the backyard doesn't complain, then you're not really violating anything, are you?
That would be a civil issue between property owners.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if they don't complain, then
Some of them is gonna complain. That's why we're doing this.
yes.
The ones that aren't complaining, do we still have to do it?
You would have to do what the ordinance says.
Mayor?
Yes, go right ahead.
Rebuttal?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Molly, I think that's the basis for Tracy and I's vote, is because it's not clear. It's too vague. It leaves too many unopened envelopes. Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's move on. I'll allow for just one more discussion because this actually should have taken place and time for discussion, but I'll go ahead and allow it. Go ahead, sir. Well, give you some input. No, go ahead, Mr. Ersol. Please, take a couple of minutes.
I think it's about clarity and being able to see it. I mean, if I have a 6-foot fence and I have a 10-foot container, I mean, it's gonna be hard to bury. So the vagueness comes in screening. What kind of screen is gonna go 10 feet high to cover up the container? I mean, that's my question.
Thank you, Mr. Ersol. We'll move on now to item number 9. Thank you, staff, very much. Appreciate it. Do you have any more input?
Sir, I'm on the next one.
Okay, discussion and possible action in ordinance amending the city code of ordinances, chapter 130 offenses against city regulations, article 1, general MH 1.1, provisions amending 130.03, intentional interference with passage on public sidewalks and entrances to public or private property abutting a public sidewalk. Go right ahead, sir.
Great, thank you. So as a background, Community Development and Code has received complaints from residents regarding limited accessibility to sidewalks on Frontier Collection Days. Residents frequently place waste and recycling bins directly on the sidewalk for collection. This obstructs pedestrian pathways and may create accessibility barriers for individuals using mobility devices, strollers, or other assistive equipment. So maintaining clear and unobstructed sidewalk is important for ensuring safety and equitable pedestrian access throughout the community. When sidewalks are blocked, pedestrians may be forced to travel on the street, creating potential safety hazards. As stated, we've received complaints from residents. This just clarifies the ordinance, making sure that trash cans are placed against the curb and not on the sidewalk during collection days. This is something that we pulled from San Antonio as a reference, because San Antonio does have this passed. Whether or not everybody follows it, is depending on the neighborhood. But we just want to make sure that it is very clear and unobstructed for anybody that is wanting to freely travel, and we're not forcing them into the streets to travel. It may not be every resident or every place that you would have to do, but just one place to force them into the street is creating a safety hazard and a liability that we don't want to create. So here's our existing ordinance. As stated, we're clarifying the title of the ordinance and adding another subsection in here to clarify the placement of trash cans in front of the property and not on the sidewalk or by a mailbox, to make sure that we're not obstructing the postal service as well. Scroll down, please. Keep going. Oh, right there. Go back up. C. Here is going to be the proposed amendment. Any questions?
Yep.
Fellers, go right ahead.
So in lieu of having stickers put on their trash can that say place in the street, or reminding people a second time or a third time, you want to pass an ordinance so that you can fine them.
My intention is not to fine people. It is not.
Intention is not to, but this is the basis for that fine right here.
We don't want to fine people. The objective is code compliance, right? And all
Complaining about the mailboxes or the telephone poles.
all the road reconstruction projects that have mailboxes placed on the path are within ADA compliance, giving 3 feet of clearance even with the mailbox placed on there. So there have not been complaints about mailboxes to my knowledge, but there have been many complaints about either trash or recycling bins on the sidewalk.
Nick, I'm aware that Frontier has told the residents to place them in the street. I'm aware of that. I've told my neighbors to do it. Some of them forget. Some of them do, some don't. It's just a polite thing to remind them, put it in the street.
This is the basis of this ordinance, is just to remind them.
Understand why we have to pass an ordinance ordering them to do that. We could just remind them to do that.
We cannot help people with disabilities that need to walk, or somebody with a stroller that's being forced onto the street with traffic anywhere. If this ordinance is not passed, they can keep the trash can on the sidewalk, and we were still continuing to force people into the street. I would love for people to be reminded and to be able to just place it on the street, but that's not going to help the city enforce it if this ordinance remain the same.
Your answer is satisfactory.
You yield the floor. Okay. Councilman Eversole.
I like my business on Hillcrest. Am I supposed to put my trash can in Hillcrest Drive?
Yes.
Okay.
So as of right now, there's no area along Hillcrest that is zoned residential R1. Everything is zoned multifamily or office or retail. Over time, if it's not rezoned, then, it's not intended for a single family residence to be able to place a trash can out there. It's intended for Frontier to service a dumpster or anything on site on the property. But if this ordinance did pass, then yes, it would need to be placed on Hillcrest Drive. Given that the lanes currently do support you being able to do it with traffic passing by. It is wide enough.
But we're talking the whole way up Hillcrest, right? I mean, every business on Hillcrest either needs to have it, needs to also put it on the street.
Yes, sir.
Same.
If they have a single receptacle and not a dumpster.
So have it.
Any other comments from anyone else? Who hasn't spoken? Weaver, do you
No,
have
I have
anything?
nothing.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Burton. Let Mr. Burton go because you've already gone and then we'll come back to you.
I'd like to address the multiple videos I've sent you where I place my trash can in the street and Frontier comes by and sets it right back in the middle of the sidewalk. Also, my apron is poured in such a way that I can put my receptacle on the sidewalk and still have at least 3 feet the way the wings of my apron are placed. But, how are you going to enforce that when a citizen comes up to you and tells you, I put it in the street and they set it back on the sidewalk?
Those are conversations that we would have with Frontier.
But how are they going to prove it? I mean, I've got video cameras all over, so I can show you videos, and I have sent you multiple videos. But if Jeremy happens to drive by and sees you come home from work and that receptacle sitting right in the middle of the sidewalk, how can they prove it?
So to my knowledge, all the waste vehicles nowadays have cameras, video cameras installed on them. So if you don't pay your bill, they take a screenshot, make sure that, whenever you start complaining that it wasn't picked up, or if you put it out late, they have proof of it, right? So Jeremy's easily able to contact Frontier and say, hey, did you place this back on the sidewalk? Or was it the resident that had it placed initially? And this would also be, things that Jeremy would observe early on in the morning before collection starts, not in the afternoon once collection has already taken place.
And also I would respectively ask that if we're going to set these receptacles in the street, that Frontier provide us some reflective decals to put on the receptacles so that at night cars can see those things, because they're dark green, and of course they do have a yellow top, but
Yeah. If we,
cycles have a blue top.
yeah, if it does pass, then I'll ask Frontier if they can accommodate that.
I yield the floor, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor.
All right, Councilman Sellers, go ahead. sir.
Yes,
We'll end it with you.
I would strongly recommend you call Frontier and ask them if they're good, they're the ones that are gonna be responsible for cars hitting those trash cans at 30 miles an hour on Hillcrest. Because it's gonna happen. So is the owner gonna be responsible for buying that trash can that was hit at 30 miles an hour? Or is Frontier, since they're requiring it to be on the street, are they gonna be responsible?
These are conversations that I have with Frontier, but to my understanding, we can adopt this with an amendment to exclude Hillcrest Drive.
That amendment will satisfy me.
Okay, Mr. Sellers, you have the floor? Okay, great, thank you. I think we spent enough time beating it over the head. Everybody's had an opportunity to make their comments. Sir, thank you, staff, very much for presenting this. Let's go ahead and call for a vote on this matter, and then we'll have an open. All right, so all in favor of the motion, which is to approve an ordinance amending the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 130, offenses against city regulations, Article 1, General MH 1.1 provisions, amending 130.03 intentional interference with passage on public sidewalks and entrances to public or private property abutting a public sidewalk. All in favor? I have a vote. We need a motion on the floor.
I make a motion that we accept it as stated.
Councilman
Oh,
Eversole, you've
sorry.
been recognized. Go ahead. Go ahead. You make the motion?
A motion, we accept it as stated, except that we have an amendment that we exclude Hillcrest on that because it is a major thoroughfare traffic.
Okay, so a motion has been made with an amendment to exclude Hillcrest as an exception to this particular item on the agenda. Do we have a second to that motion?
Mayor, may I
Yep,
be
Hernandez,
recognized?
Go ahead, sir.
I make a second.
Okay, Councilman Hernandez says second that a motion with the amendment for the exclusion of Hillcrest. All in favor?
I'd like a discussion.
Okay, we will right after we call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All right.
Aye.
Eversol, Councilman Hernandez, aye,
I
aye.
can't vote aye until I
You have
discuss it.
discussion afterwards. You've had your opportunity to discuss it earlier.
Point of
So-
order, Mayor,
Yes,
we should
go
have
ahead.
discussion before the,
That
before
we
the
always
vote.
do.
We
Yeah,
just did.
but
We had discussion. I left everyone to discuss it and talk about it. So now we moved into the vote to either approve it or disapprove it. Now you've made a motion to approve it. We have it on the floor. Now we have a second to that motion. As soon as that second motion is made, we have the second, and then we call for further discussion. And at that point, you can go ahead and call it. I'll recall the motion if you like that way to give you an opportunity. Would you like that?
I want to discuss it.
All right, but we have a second.
Bring up one point.
Okay, we've already had a motion on the floor.
Yep.
We have a second. I'll go ahead and allow for further discussion so that you can make your point. In all fairness, I'll let you do that. Go ahead.
Good, my point. Not only Hillcrest, but you have that street in front of McDonald's that doesn't allow, it's a narrow street. It does not allow that.
Balcony sites.
Put your trash can on the street just like you do Hillcrest. I think this needs
Okay.
more.
Here's what
more-
can be done as a chair, let me go ahead and make a ruling here. So what basically, when you want to do what you want to do, Mr. Sellers, it throws everything off. All you need to do is say, I don't agree. I would like to offer an amendment to that motion to say so and so and so. Then that amendment can be recognized and you ask for a second to your amendment. Hold, let me finish. Let me finish. You have a second to that amendment. Now we have to take your vote in consideration. And if it fails, then we go back to the original amendment that we had for Mr. Ebersol's, and then we take a vote on that. That's how it works, sir. So you have an opportunity to address something you don't agree with. I'm not agreeing with you or disagreeing with anyone. I'm just telling you the rules of parliamentary procedure. That's it. Okay? Right. And that's where the discussion earlier take place. You see, when we had that discussion. Right. So are you
Right.
offering a motion, an
Mayor?
amendment to the motion
Never,
of the original amendment? for the
may
motion?
I be recognized?
Yes, just one second. Let me finish with Mr. Sellers. Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Eversol, go right ahead.
I'd like a motion to retract my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion. We still need to take Madam Council, clarify for them, please, so that we can move forward with this. I'm breathless as to explaining it to them again.
So
We
we
had a
have already gotten to the point where we have a motion, a second, and 3 ayes.
Correct. And then
All right.
interrupted.
So that means that whatever else happens, that motion has already passed
That's
because
correct.
it's 3 ayes.
Correct, and then the item has been resolved, pretty much.
So
There is no
council,
other amendment or anything that can be done.
the only other item y'all can do is ask for this to be recalled next agenda.
Right, put it on the agenda again and discuss it. So now that we've had that, what is your vote on the first vote? Mr. We can clarify, Mr. Sellers, because we never got to it. Are you a nay or yay on the first vote that Mr. Eversol made, Mr. Hernandez second, and it was voted on by 3 members? Well, asking you, yay, I'm just asking. Hey, Mr. Burton, what is your vote?
I'll vote nay.
Okay, so for the record, we have 3 ayes and 2 nays. Motion carries with the ayes on that item. Okay, as we move along, let's follow procedure. If you disagree, as I said before, anybody on the council, you have the option to make an amendment to the motion at any given time. That's parliamentary procedure, Robert's Rules of Order. Okay, so we have now moved on from that item. We're going to item number 10. Discussion and staff direction only regarding the feeding. Discussion and staff direction only, council, regarding the feeding of animals and proper disposal pet waste. Councilman Burton and Mr. Nick Ibarque of our Community Development Department. You have the floor, sir, and then Mr. Burton will probably ask to be recognized.
Yes, sir. So I don't have a presentation, but I have provided 4 different ordinances from 4 different municipalities in Texas that somewhat address the feeding of either feral or stray animals or wild animals of any sort. So I'm just looking for direction from anybody on what you like, dislike, if you want to adopt something in the future. That way I can start writing something and present it next council meeting.
Burton, your name's on this item. If you'd like to proceed, sir, I'd like to recognize you and allow you to present yourself.
Thank you, Mayor. This was brought up with the feeding of feral cats from residents outside the city who like to walk our streets because they feel safe in our streets, which is a plus right there. But what it's doing is they're leaving empty tuna containers, lids, forks, plates, and they're perpetuating the problem from the apartments, which I live really close to. And it's an unfortunate thing that when people leave their apartments, they don't take their pets with them and they become feralized cats. We did have a program where a lady would come in and she would capture the cats and she would spay or neuter them and then release them in the same place that she had caught them so that it breeds itself down, if you will. And so I was looking for direction from any of the other municipalities on ways to solve this so that, and I think we need to start at the apartment level as, you know, is a big thing because there's a lot of cats that come out of the apartments. I have not seen too many stray dogs, but cats is the main one. And I'm not anti-cat. I love cats, pets, but it's a pet is different than a feral. A wild cat, you can't pet them, you can't get next to them or anything. And they help control the rodent population, if you will, too. So that was the reason for bringing up the ordinance, was because we had people walking the streets leaving their trash and stuff. And then when people walk their dogs, like myself, they get into the leftover cans, sharp edges, forks, and it's a problem.
Thank you. Any other comments from any council members? Weaver, go right ahead.
Well, the Humane Society on Fredericksburg Road has usually had one lady by the name of Kate come to your house because she's taking care of my ferals. So a few I have, and she's gone. She's not here anymore.
She retired.
So what we need to do is get back with the city and see if they can give us somebody else to come over and help us to take care of this problem. Because she took care of it, but when she retired, nobody did, and it sort of like resurfaced again.
Yes. May I have the floor again?
Yes, sir.
I did contact her and she's retired.
Right.
And she's up in age and her health is.
Oh, I know her. I know her very well.
I didn't know where to reach out to because I've always been told the Humane Society, they won't take strays and stuff.
No, they don't take them, but they fix them. They fix them and they even give them the rabies shots. So they, and then they release them. And that way they don't have any more babies. They can't make babies, so at least it's just the poor babies that are being deserted.
So I was just kind of spitting in the wind on this to see how council feels and our code enforcement feels about, pursuing this or just not do it or what, but it is a problem. And I think we need to address it at the apartment level, make the, if people are going to have pets up there, that they need to take care of their pets and take them with them. It's a sad fact, but it's a fact.
I agree. There's also people that live here in the city that have a cat and refuse to get her fixed. So we're stuck with the babies all the time. There's nothing we can do because we complain, and as long as they, nobody tells them anything, they're not gonna have their cat fixed. So it's not just the apartments, it's the people who live here too. So, but we need to get somebody from the city, the Humane Society, to come over here and look at this and see if they're not, who they can give us because Kate's gone.
Okay.
That's about it.
Both of you got enough comments, Shan?
Mayor, may I speak? I'd like to table this. It was just a discussion really to bring it up and bring it before council, and maybe we can all brainstorm and come back to Nick with maybe a solution, or ask some citizens to maybe contribute a solution. And I just, let's table it till for, a further meeting, Mayor.
Okay. Well, basically, it's just discussion and staff discretion. You're the policymaker, so if it's something that any council member would like to place on the following agenda, or perhaps at the end of the meeting where you have a future agenda coming up, you're welcome to do that as a policymaker, to set policy for that. And it's upon your purview to do so. There's nothing that can be tabled or anything right now because it's just discussion and staff direction. So we'll move down as the next item if they want to put it on the agenda.
Mayor, may I be
Yeah,
recognized?
go ahead, Mr.
Just a quick
No,
question
Councilor
for
Key.
Nick. Did you have any recommendations regarding this topic?
I think the city of Overton, that ordinance that I placed in your packet, that one has some good terminology minus the TNR program that they've adopted. City of Great Forest, which is close by, if you'll see subsection C, the feeding of wild animals within the city limits is prohibited. I do agree with City of Llano where they've defined it as if it's on your private property, you're fine. If you're in public property or on somebody else's property, it is not allowed to feed a stray animal or a feral animal. I want to get away of the topic of it just being about cats, because this is about it being a larger problem as a whole with any stray animals or wild animals. I think we need to address it in its entirety, right? Because we can't provide the same resources that COSA does. We don't have animal control. We don't have a facility to take animals or contract with anybody to take animals, because once they hear that we're with the city, they're, we don't have anything with them. So they're not open to intake, right? So this helps us address it as long as it's wild animals, and we're making sure that it applies to people in the public right of way, people outside the city. We can't control it if you're on your own property feeding any types of animals.
Thank you, Nick. Mr. Sellers?
Yeah, can you scroll up, please?
Okay.
A little bit. I'm looking at 3.02.002. You had it a while ago. Yeah.
On Great Forest.
Overton.
Overton? Yes, sir.
Okay, right there. Can you tell me what TNR means?
No, sir. That's what I'm saying. That's the only part of that ordinance. That's the only part of the ordinance that's not applicable.
Means traps, neuter, and release.
Trap, neuter, and release?
Yes.
Thank you, Molly.
You're welcome.
Molly? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Any other questions?
I've been dealing with stray cats for since my mother was here when we were kids. She always took them in. She couldn't stand to have them not eat, and she got them fixed. And so everybody now, it's just my ritual now, and I'm trying to get mine to calm down a little bit so I can.
Molly, I know you're a cat person.
Yes.
But the only problem I have, okay, is when they come into my yard and dig up my garden and my potted plants. No.
Mine have my front yard. They don't need your chart.
Okay. All right. I think we spent enough time on this. Let's go ahead and move on. There's no action to be taken. Thank you, staff, very much for your input. I'm sure if the council members have anything to put on policy, they'll place it on the agenda. Moving down real fast on number 11, discussion and possible action on changing the May City Council Crime Control and Prevention District meeting date to May 18th due to the Memorial Day holiday. Ms. Hernandez, go right ahead.
So the next council meeting falls on Memorial Day, so staff is asking for the council to move it to May 18, both the city council meeting and the Crime Control and Prevention District meeting.
Okay, I think this is a pretty easy item. We shouldn't have very much discussion. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll go ahead and circulate a motion, or rather a desire for a council member to motion on this item. Do we have anybody from any?
May I be
council member?
recognized?
Yes, Mr. Burton, go ahead.
I move to make a motion that we move the council meeting and the crime control to the 18th.
Okay,
so
we
that
have a
they-
second to Mr. Burton's
So
motion.
that they fall on the same date.
Yes, sir. We have a second to that motion.
Second that.
Councilman Sellers has seconded that motion. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have all ayes and no nays. Moving down to number 12, we have an item here from a citizen that wants to come up and discuss possible action regarding contractor bids and award for the bid for the visitor center. Ms. Hernandez and Mr. Juan Licea. Go ahead, Mr. Bravo, call Mr. Licea up to the podium.
Good evening, members of council. Juan Licea, candidate for city council, former councilman, graduate of TML Leadership Academy, member of former member of the Balcones Heights Economic Development Corporation, also member of the TML Legislative Committee. I did a little bit of research on this and I didn't find much information on the packet. In researching the use of hot funds for a visitor center, it does say you can use it as a visitor center, you can use the funds, but it also specifies very deeply that you cannot just call a building a visitor center. You have to supply data, you have to supply stats, you have to supply the method that you're going to use for the hotels to block rooms to be able to track the rooms that are being blocked for the revenue that's being coming in. There's a lot of data that goes associated with just not being able to say you're going to use the funds for a visitor center. The other thing that I found very interesting is it says if you're going to use it for a visitor center, the building must be owned by the city or have a lease of a minimum of a 20-year lease. I don't know that we have any of that information. I strongly encourage the council to look into this, study this, and make sure we're not violating any laws. Thank you. Any questions for me? Is that information in any of the packets? Because I didn't see it in the packet. Does anybody have that information?
We have the information on the choosing the contractor and just a picture of what what the area is gonna look like, and that's all we have.
Right, and that's my concern. We're going ahead before doing all our research and making sure we're not violating any laws. The way I read the information, and it's on the website under TML, under the Texas Hotel Association, all that information is in there. So I plead to the council before you take a vote in spending our tax dollars, that we're not violating any laws. Because it's my belief that several laws are being violated if we move forward in spending these funds.
Can respond to his thing, sir.
I'm disappointed that you did not print that information out and pass it to all of us. Hearsay is one thing, solid facts are another, and I guess we got to do our own research on that, but I think it's gone way beyond that. We've already spent over $30,000 in a visitor center before it was ever even mentioned to the city council. I just, if you could go home and print that information out and come back with it.
Today is Monday. I will have it in the hands of the city administrator by Wednesday morning. I'll provide all the information I can. And I was surprised to hear that money has already been spent without it coming before council. That also is against the hot fund rules. So thank you. Any other questions? Anything I can help anybody with?
Hernandez, do you want to respond to him in any way?
This was approved by the EDC chair to start all the design of this. I asked to bring it to council 2 months ago. That's why we had it on the packet last month.
That's another interesting thing that I found in studying economic development corporations. Economic development corporations are supposed to respond to the city because they are not their own entity. They're supposed to respond to the city. That's one of the things that I did find. Now, I know you guys did made some kind of arrangements. I just see it in there that it says that they're supposed to report to the city council.
Correct that for him, Ms. Hernandez, that C is an entity of its own. It has nothing to do with the city of Vallejo. It is a standalone corporation, the corporation. It responds only to its board of directors and its chairman.
So I'm going to jump in here right quick. So first off, we're supposed to be receiving comments, on the item. The discussion is to be happening between the board itself. Thank you to our commenter here. I appreciate the comments. City Council, you all can
Thank
take
you.
those, and do with them what you will. And then just to get it correct, the 4B, the EDC is a separate entity, and it does have its own board. The city council does have ultimate authority over the projects of that. So that is why Ms. Hernandez is bringing this forward to city council for the final approval of a project.
So members of council, as a resident of this city, I'm asking you, did you give up all authority for somebody else to spend our tax dollars? For somebody that's not a resident of our community to spend our tax dollars? Any other questions?
Him. And so, Mr. Benavides, I think, did you want to, since you are on behalf of the entity that's looking at the
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Just, I came here just to get an update from the rest of y'all, just to see how we're gonna move forward with, what's wrong with this thing? Just to see how we're gonna move forward with this. But I do want to provide one update. I know the last bids came in at 277,000. The contractor did provide the opportunity to value engineer the project if need be. But seeing that we're about 27,000 over budget, it's not too much of a difference. In other words, I don't know how much you want to step over dollars to pick up pennies. But yeah, it's really in the council's hands right now to, it seems like the council has further discussion. I would have thought the whole month that passed by discussion would have happened, but it doesn't seem that way.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Hernandez.
So last month I asked to defer this so we can do some, further research. And I went to the hotel and spoke with management there. And the hotel's really kind of not behind this. They don't, how can I say, they not necessarily against it, but they really weren't for it. They didn't really see how it was going to benefit them. And I've had several city, I'm going to say residents, object about it. And then so I started thinking, well, how can we accomplish this? And so, I have an idea that rather than spending $277,000 to remodel a visitor center with a lease that we really don't know where we're going to go with, why don't we maybe invest in some kiosk, and we can have multiple locations. We can have a kiosk in the hotel. We can, which they were open to that. We can have one in the mall. We can maybe have one on Fredericksburg Road or other multiple locations. Now we don't have to staff. And so it's going to reduce a lot of the costs. So I'd like to make a motion to suspend any future spending on this project and do some research on the kiosk. And, so I want to put a halt to any further movement of it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Hernandez to suspend and halt any further action on this item regarding contractor bids and award for bid for the Visitor Center. Do we have a second to that motion?
May I be recognized?
Yes, Councilman Burton, go
I,
right
s- I
ahead.
second Mr. Hernandez's motion.
Okay, Councilman Burton has seconded that motion. Now I'll call for any further discussion. Any other questions, any other concerns from anyone? Okay, then let's go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay.
Nay.
Okay, nay from Councilman Weaver, Councilman Sellers, nay. Mr. Ebersol, what is your vote?
I vote.
Yeah.
I'll abstain right now. I
So
just don't
one
have a decision
abstention.
one way or another.
Okay, one abstain. Okay, and then we have Ms. Weaver is a yay.
No, no, no. It was a nay.
It was a nay. Excuse me, that's right, nay. Okay. And Mr. Sellers is nay. Mr. Burton is yay. And Mr. Hernandez is yay. And we have one abstain, which puts me to vote, correct? Okay, I'll vote in favor of it, in favor of moving forward on the actual,
Well, the motion was to suspend, not to move
okay,
forward.
so then I vote nay as well then.
Yeah, vote at all.
Yes, I can if it's a split
right.
vote. I get to vote. So I vote with Ms. Weaver and I vote with you, Mr. Sellers. Which is against Mr. Hernandez's motion. And the motion is to move, to halt. So we're not going to halt. We will continue to move forward.
Right.
Mr. Sir, you're out of order. You're not allowed to speak or any input.
Point of order, there's not been a vote to move forward, sir.
Well, no, your vote was basically to stop from moving forward. You said that you would vote it in favor of not staying behind if you wanted to not move forward with this, correct?
Suspend so we can do some research on the kiosk.
But you
Yep.
did not want to move forward with the visitor center.
I
correct?
wanted to suspend any further movement until we do research. That was the motion.
Okay, so to clarify then, your motion is to suspend any further activity on the convention visitor center, correct?
Until we research and find out the cost of the kiosk and locations.
Okay. so
And then we can make a
just consider-
and then we can make a determination later. Yes, sir.
Then I will vote with, being that I'm the split vote, because we have an absent vote, correct? Is that
Yes, sir.
correct, Madam Counselor, I can go ahead and vote. So then I vote with Councilwoman Weaver, Councilwoman Sellers.
I want to
Again,
clarify
you're
that I'm
vote-
not
voting
voting
against
for
your-
moving forward.
Well, you've already voted, sir. You can't change it now. You're just voting in favor. Counselor? I'm actually the one
That
that,
was a misinterpretation there.
Okay, so,
well, he's already voted. We've already called the vote.
so you had a motion to suspend pending further research.
And the key.
Right, all right. So that motion is dead. And so at this particular point in time, the agenda item still stands. Are we going to take a motion on awarding of the contract bid? All right, so
So
if,
then his was an amendment, is what you're saying?
no, no. So what we had was the motion to suspend this item with the research, right? That motion has failed. So if council wants to dispose of this item this evening, Mayor, you can call for any other motion as to the actual item, which is regarding the award of a bid for the visitor center. But the project itself, yeah, I mean, the project itself is not dead. It's just a matter of, are y'all going to proceed with awarding a bid or not?
But his motion was to suspend that.
Right.
And
And it failed.
pending the kiosk research.
Right. And it
So
failed.
that took
right.
care of the vote then, of the actual item on the agenda.
No, that,
Okay.
that took care of his motion to suspend this particular item. What y'all have not addressed is the actual item itself, which is, because the actual item here is, do y'all want to award the contract?
May I be recognized?
Hold on, let's get clear, but we want to make sure we clear, so I can move in the right direction. So then what we need to do now is move forward with calling a vote from the council to explicitly vote on this item on the agenda, which I thought we were doing right in the beginning,
No.
because it's on the agenda as
Right.
stated.
So the agenda, the motion was to suspend this project.
Okay?
That motion
So
has
that
failed.
addresses the item on the agenda. Because the item on the agenda reads
No.
as such.
It's right. It's
Says-
discussion and possible action regarding contractor bids and award of bid for the visitor center.
Right, and his motion is, we're not going to do that.
No,
we're
his
gonna
motion was to
suspend
suspend the project.
it. Okay,
Yeah. To suspend the project in whole, not addressing the bid. So y'all have not addressed the actual bid.
Yeah. My motion was not to end the project, but to suspend it until we do further research.
okay, and then adding the language of the PR. Correct. Okay, so then let's move forward, you're saying, into now discussion of the actual item and voting on it, whether we're going to award the bid, correct?
That's
For the
correct.
visitor center.
That's correct.
All right,
So
so then let's move forward with that is your legal instruction. I will go ahead and entertain that. And then when I call for discussion, then Mr. Burton can speak on your behalf of what you want to say. Okay, so let's go ahead and now move into the vote for discussion and possible action regarding contractor bids and award of bid for the visitor center. Do we have a motion on the floor for that specific language?
May I be recognized?
Yes, Councilman Burton, now you can be recognized.
I make a motion to not award a bid for the visitor center.
Okay, and now we have a second to that motion, correct?
I second it.
And Councilman Sellers has seconded that motion. Now I'll call for any further discussion to the item. Okay, so now this vote, yeah, because it's further discussion, so you're allowed to speak up if you like to.
Okay, yeah, I just want. So I had 45 days.
Respond.
It's 45.
Put your voice to the mic, please.
Next Monday. We're going to be looking at. The contractors.
Right. And so that's what I was trying to get some clarity as to the first motion that was made, because it was still, I'm not clear on it. I thought that motion that was made by Mr. Hernandez addressed it, but you're saying it doesn't, so I'll have to check later to find out if that was legal or not, what you're telling us. Because I don't see the clarity in that, but for purposes of flowing the meeting, I'll go ahead and go along with it and allow it instead of rejecting it as the chair and move forward with this second option, which will be the vote that is currently right now. And so what Mr. Benavides is explaining to all of you is that because we've waited this long and there has already been one postponement on this, then those bids are probably going to be null and void, and pretty much the effort will have to be taken all up from starting up from day one again. Correct? Okay. Well, whatever the purview of the council is, I'm going to follow through with going through with the motions. All right. So then we have that, and we had a second, correct? All right. So now we'll call the vote. There is no further discussion. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes, go
may I
ahead.
before you call the vote, can we just get clarity exactly what we're voting on right now?
So you are voting right now, basically as it reads. It reads as discussion and possible action regarding contractor bids and award of a bid for the visitor center. Do you want to move forward or you don't want to move forward with that process is basically what this item says.
But what was his motion, Jack?
May I be recognized?
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
My motion was to not award, let me make sure I'm right on this here. To not award a contractor bids of the visitor center.
Okay?
That not award a contract.
So in other words, what you're saying is you don't want to move forward regarding contractor bids and award of bids for the visitor center. You want it to die on the
Correct.
line.
Correct.
Okay, so that's to clarify. He's basically saying that he does not want to move forward with it. And we had a second to that, which was Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Sellers. Yeah, and so you're good with that, right? Okay, good. So we have the second now. Let's go ahead and call the vote on that. Is it clarified for you, Mr. Hernandez? All right, great. Let's go ahead and call the vote on it. All of us, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Any nays or any abstentions? Abstain. What was your vote? Okay, one abstain. We have one. Weaver is an aye. Mr. Hernandez is an aye. Mr. Sellers is an aye. And Mr. Burton's an aye. So 4 with 1 abstention. That means that it is passed with all the ayes and 1 abstain. Okay?
No, sir. It was,
Jack was aye.
well, you're right. The vote was passed, but it was not to have the visitor center.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's exactly
So
correct.
they don't have the money then.
Right, so
Yeah.
they're not moving forward, so sorry for your time and thank you very much for your time. Yes, sir. Okay, so we got that clear. So we could call it, you got it, the vote, 1 abstain and 4 nays. Got it. All right, let's move next one over to number 13. Discussion and possible action regarding ACOG 2026 Regional Grant Program number 5764101, update resolution 2026-10R. Police Cavazos, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. The ACOG has requested some amendments on the resolution for the ACOG grant that we have applied for. And what they wanted is clarification on the names for the administrator, the finance manager, and the designee. Those were corrected, and the resolution needed to be reapproved.
Okay. So what is it you are asking to be done, sir?
For the resolution to be approved with the names that were added of Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Messick, and myself as a designee.
Okay, the chief has clarified what the amendment is. Council, what would you like to do on this?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Councilman Burton, go right ahead.
I move to approve the item as stated, item number 13.
With the amendments is what you mean? Mr.
Yes.
Burton, okay.
Well,
As amendments as the chief has recommended?
yes.
Okay, and Kate Cog. All right, do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, Councilman Sellers has seconded that motion. Let me call for any further discussion. Any further discussion on the item? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Brown.
There is a secondary form that goes with it, a supplemental form
Yes,
that
sir.
each one of you has to sign. So please, before you go, it goes along with that amendment.
Okay. All right, so the motion is carried 5-0. There's no nays. Councilman Weaver? Excuse me? Okay, so we have 1 nay and 4 yeas. Councilman Weaver as Councilmember Weaver's name. Okay? Now we have the next item on the agenda. We're moving right along. Item number 14, discussion and possible action regarding Resolution 2026-11R, approving an interlocal agreement, ILA, between the Bexar County Constable's Office, Precinct 2, BCCOP 2, and the City of Balcones Heights. Again, Police Chief Cavazos, go right ahead, sir.
So we've been working very closely with Precinct 2, Constable Vasquez. And it's always been the intention to try to get other agencies involved with our agency. It's a force multiplier, mutual aid. So Constable Vasquez would like the opportunity to be able to, when needed, have her officers here to use the facilities, use the report writing room, and make an additional presence of law enforcement. This is a common situation that occurs with other agencies. And I would like to entertain and have council's approval on this interagency local agreement. to provide them with that access.
Go right ahead, sir. Mr. Everson.
Is this for just precinct 2 right now, or is this
Currently.
open for?
So we'd have to have an ILA for every agency that we would entertain.
Okay, any other questions?
Mayor, may I be
Yes,
recognized?
Councilman Hernandez, you can.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ILA for the Constable Precinct 2, as stated.
As stated, as the chief has recommended, do we have a second to that motion?
I second it.
Councilman Eversol has seconded that motion. Okay, I'll call for any further discussion. Yes, Councilman Burton, you may.
Bad habit of not turning my mic on. Is there any cost involved with this?
No, sir, there's no cost involved with it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so basically, Chief, can you just kind of let the public know as to what is the purpose of the interlocal agreement or the MOU, so it doesn't seem like you, you know, they have more information about it, so they have a better understanding of it.
Most definitely.
Is it going to attack or deal with the overtime? Will you be using the reserves to do that as well? How does it work? Kinda
So the
give us an
interlocal,
idea.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just kind of give us an idea.
So the interlocal agreement is just an agreement between the agencies saying that we're working together. There is no overtime granted to this other agency from our department to them. Any overtime that would be incurred would be upon that agency's own financial budget. They would cooperate, or we would cooperate mutually in performance of police functions. As far as overtime for us, they have nothing to do with our departmental staffing. So we currently do have reserves that we use from time to time to help supplement those needs when they come up. But the presence of another agency, another entity in our city is very helpful. As you know, at times we only have 2 officers in the field. With that other agency working here in emergency situations, they will assist in responding and providing cover.
Was this, is this an attempt or somewhat to create a task force, is what you're doing?
No, sir, it's
No,
not.
it's not going to be a special
mutual
task force or
cooperation
anything?
between agencies.
Okay. Right, great. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Councilman, Councilman Member Weaver. Go right ahead. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
so in other words, this integration and the cooperation and everything, like if they come over to us because we need them, they're gonna pay them their own time. And if we send somebody over there because they need us, we are the ones that have to pay overtime.
So it'd be more than likely that we won't be going to them because their coverage is vast. It's throughout all of Bexar County, man. So it'd be far and few between that we would probably provide them with resources. This is more of them willing to help us since we're a small agency.
True, but I understand that. There will be a time, or they could be a time. Anyway, all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And one additional question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
On the liability exposure of those officers being in our jurisdictional boundaries, operating under our, or make a call with one of our officers, somebody gets shot, somebody gets hurt, violation of rights or whatever it may be that occurs during a call. The exposure is going to be on the city of Balcones Heights and Precinct 2?
Well, actually, we operate within their jurisdiction because they're Bexar County. So they cover their own people. They have just as much exposure equally as we do for what their officers do. So we're operating in their county. They're not
Okay.
operating in our city.
Good to know.
Yes, sir.
All right, these are all questions I think the citizens should be able to have in front of them to understand what the
Most definitely.
interlocal agreement would be. Thank you very much, sir. Anything else, Councilman Sellers?
I just wanted to remind everybody that October maybe of last year, the council passed a resolution that every action item put on the agenda must accompany proof of for or against that action item. We haven't been doing that. So in the future, if you want to put an action item on the agenda, you've got to have proof of why you want that action item on.
Thank you, Mr. Sellers. Any other questions from any council members regarding this item? All right, let's go ahead and entertain a motion. And we've already had one, didn't we? Okay, so let's go ahead and entertain the vote on it now. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so we have all ayes, motion carries, there is no nays. All ayes, 5 ayes, motion carries. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to take a 5-minute break, give everybody an opportunity to go to the restroom, and I will call the session back in 5 minutes. The time is 8:34 PM. We're doing very well on time. Let's get to the restrooms and back real quick, and we'll get finished our council meeting so we can all go home. Time is 8:44 PM. We have now come back from a 5-minute break or so, and we are moving right along to the agenda items that we're going to discuss. And we are now on item of the executive session, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look, closed session. So we are now on item number 8, closed session. The city council will recess its open meeting and convene in closed session. The time is 8:45 PM. For the benefit of the public, we will now be going into closed session, which is referred to as executive session as well. And we will be discussing pursuant to 551.071, consultation with attorney regarding results of the investigation. It doesn't specify what investigation, so we'll find out when we go here.
It's 9:20 PM. I'm acting as Mayor Pro Tem in my capacity as Mayor Pro Tem. The mayor has left, so no action taken. And I look for any motions to adjourn. Okay. We reconvened in open session now, 9:21. No action taken. And, oh, okay. Any announcements? Because I left my agenda over there. Thank you.
Are you the one responsible for these? Okay. I don't know if you can see, but I've taken paper clips and tried to bundle each packet together. But I found that the way the mayor skips around, okay, I spend more time trying to find that pertaining paper and I can't find it. And by the time I find it, I missed the motion.
Yeah.
So can we
appreciate
can
your
we work
comment
on that?
Yes, and I'd like to entertain y'all giving me some ideas. I can put those papers between the colored paper. I think y'all liked that before. I can do. Let me try some things and you let me know as we go. Okay. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay. Announcements and comments, requests by mayor or city council members? Anything you want to bring up on an agenda item or?
May I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Mr. Hernandez.
Before Tracy Ebersol left, he had wanted to add action item number 9 today back onto next month to revisit that. So if you guys can just do that.
And number 9 would be the discussion possible action of an ordinance, the city code of ordinances, offenses against city regulations, blocking public sidewalks, entrances to private or public walkways. So just FYI.
Before I relinquish the floor. So I see Nick is gone. What we want to do is to first off have somebody reach out to the trash company and find out, one, are they going to be able to put the reflective stickers or decals? Because, they may not want to agree to, to that expense. So we need to find out on that. The other thing we need to find out is Okay, so what if somebody hits the trash can in the street, damages it? Who's going to be responsible for that? Are they going to be okay with that, or is that going to be the resident? So we need some clarification on that.
So that will be the resident because they're not, Frontier is not the one requesting for the garbage cans to be put on the street. Is the residents that use the sidewalks.
It's an ADA,
No, no,
it's
no.
an ADA issue, isn't it?
That Frontier put out a newsletter stating they want the trash cans in the street.
Because it was asked by us.
Well, we'll bring it up on the next.
So
on the-
we need to call them and find out
Okay.
if they're going to be responsible for a trash can being hit at 30 miles an hour.
Okay, so we'll bring that up on next month's meeting, Joe. Announcements by city administrator.
None.
And we've already addressed the to be placed on a city council agenda for future. So I entertain any motions for an adjournment. Motion by Councilman Sellers,
I second.
seconded by Councilman Hernandez. I had to think about that. The time is, let's take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Time is 9:25. Meeting's adjourned.